Nobody would ever misunderstand each other on the internet.
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
Now, we all know Twitter is real life. And apparently, there's some drama on the Twitters. There's apparently a Mr. Pablo Hidalgo. I have no idea who that was until more recently. Apparently he's working for Disney LucasArts, and he's within that studio. He seems to be a level of an executive. According to his Twitter bio, he is retired. And apparently many people were offended by one of his tweets. And we all know that everything that is said on the internet is meant to be exactly how it's said. It's not like it would depend on the observer. I mean, that's what kind of quantum physics tells us. That's only particles, and we're human beings that are made of particles. But we go over to Screen Rant. As we can see here, Lucasfilm exec apologizes to Star Wars YouTuber for mocking tweet. So essentially what had happened is Star Wars Theory, the largest Star Wars related YouTube channel, a very passionate individual whom, as this drama apparently was unfolding, the very next day he did a live stream with some of his buddies and everything, and they were talking and making potential predictions for Star Wars because that's what they enjoy talking about. So, as we can see here, Lucasfilm exec Pablo Hidalgo apologizes to a Star Wars fan after seemingly making fun of him on Twitter for his emotional reaction to The Mandalorian. And again, this is brought to us by ScreenRant.com and by Agram Gutman, I believe. Apologies if I mispronounced it. Oh, little cutie Yoda. But Lucasfilm executive Pablo Hidalgo apologized to a Star Wars fan on Twitter after seemingly making fun of his emotional reaction to The Mandalorian Season 2 finale. The finale featured the return of an iconic character, coming to Mando's rescue on Moff Gideon's Imperial cruiser. Luke Skywalker's reappearance was an exciting one to fans. Using CGI, the show brought back Luke in his prime, with Mando and the rest of the group watching as the Jedi whisk Grogu away. Now, as far as this goes, I haven't watched like The Rise of the Jedi or Solo or any really of The Mandalorian or anything. Why? Because, well, number one, a lot of folks kind of been trashing it, so don't necessarily have as much incentive there. And number two, I need to catch up on a lot of other things right now. But even I kind of watched that about 2 minutes, where it's like, what's one X-Wing gonna do? I don't know. How about one X-Wing with Master Luke Skywalker, who went in there and completely raffle stomped those near like unstoppable like robots and stuff like that. He's like force pushing and force crushing. Oh man, Vader would have been proud. It was freaking amazing. I mean, just how it went, just how he was acting, it's like he wants your permission. And you got R2-D2 there and everything. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. And of course, he says, "May the Force be with." Like, dude, that was like the ultimate fan service. I mean, like, isn't this what people wanted? To see like Luke in his prime just going out there and wrecking face? It was absolutely amazing. People loved it. And I don't know, wouldn't it kind of be obvious it's like this was meant to be? But apparently a wee bit of trolling or sarcasm on the internet didn't quite work out. We'll pop back on over. So, prominent Star Wars YouTuber Star Wars Theory live streamed his reaction to the finale. During the stream, the YouTuber watched as the episode quickly went from action spectacle to its nostalgic ending. The streamer had an emotional reaction to Luke's appearance. During the stream, the YouTuber broke down into tears during Luke's cameo. At the end of the episode, he thanked Lucasfilm for making his childhood dreams come true. As we go through many ads, because this is the internet, yes. On Twitter, Hidalgo responded to the fans' reaction saying, in a since-deleted tweet, "Emotions are not for sharing." It was unclear what exactly Hidalgo meant, but Star Wars Theory took it as a dig at his reaction. Upon the backlash, Hidalgo screenshotted the tweet and made it his banner photo, but has since apologized for his insensitive reaction, saying it was not his intention to make fun of the fan. So, as we can see here, this is Star Wars Theory at SW Theory 66. Pablo chimes in to make fun, deletes the tweet, then puts one of them as his header. How is this acceptable from someone so high up at Lucasfilm? You're telling people it's not okay to have emotions about the work your company produces, and you make fun of them for crying? Not okay. So, since we understand, nobody would ever misunderstand each other on the internet. Apparently, what had happened, according to people I've heard, is Mr. Hidalgo, he privated his account and he made that the banner. Basically, his response there. It's like, alright, why would he do that? I mean, is he some like evil mastermind sitting there petting Mad Cat saying, "I want to make the Star Wars fan base suffer"? At basically what many people would say is the most iconic moment in the past 30 years of Star Wars. I'm just saying, maybe that is the case. Maybe he truly hates Star Wars fans. That's totally possible. As an executive at Lucasfilms. Again, totally possible. Or is it possible that Dude Man was trying to kind of be hip and say something that most folks would kind of disagree with to get a reaction? Because we must remember, Twitter is real life, and nobody would ever troll on the internet. Back to the article. Again, Mr. Pablo Hidalgo. Little bit later, yes. I wish to clarify that my post that emotions are not to be shared was sarcastic self-mockery and was certainly not intended to be hurtful to anyone, and I'm deeply sorry that it was. As a lifelong fan, I appreciate fans expressing how they feel. It's what being a fan is about. As you can see here, this was one of the other tweets as well. We can't all be together in movie theaters or at conventions right now, so express yourself online. In fact, those of us not prone to such displays will quietly live vicariously through your energy. Right. And this kind of sums up a lot of what's probably going on here. The relationship between fans and Lucasfilm has been contentious since the maligned prequel trilogy. I swear I can speak. But as far as the prequel trilogy goes, I don't know, that kind of came out. One of my friends gave me like the first half of it on a CD, The Phantom Menace. I said I wasn't going to see it until he got me the other burnt CD. He never did. I eventually saw it. I don't know, I had fun. I totally support Darth things, as we can see. After Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm, though, those tensions were only exacerbated. Fan reaction to Star Wars The Last Jedi was brutal and divisive, further driving a wedge between the production company and its fans. In an era with unprecedented fan access to creators and behind-the-scenes process, fans are unafraid to let their opinions be known. But the opposite is true as well. Creators can interact with fans much easier thanks to social media, and Hidalgo is well known for being a very interactive presence on Twitter. In this instance, the fans' response was one of pure emotion, and Hidalgo's reply to it was not received well. Making fun of him, whether or not it was intentional, is not a good look, considering many fans see The Mandalorian as correcting the mistakes of both the prequel and the sequel trilogies. Emotional responses are given. After years of criticism, from both fans and even the stars of the series, like John Boyega's criticism of Star Wars' handling of characters of color. Positive reactions shouldn't be taken lightly. It's unusual for an exclusive like this at Lucasfilm, let alone any company, to react this way in response to a positive reception, and Hidalgo's apology is a small step toward rectifying the situation with Star Wars fans. And sources. The source is Star Wars Theory and Pablo Hidalgo. Alright. So again, is it possible that this particular individual, a Mr. Hidalgo, was going out of his way to be a complete jerkface and trying to ruin one of the absolute best moments in Star Wars that we've seen over multiple decades? It totally is. Is it possible that some dude was trolling on the internet? I don't know. I've totally done things like that before. But all I know is, let's see Mr. Hidalgo. Alright. So apparently, yeah. Alright. He's got not following anybody. He's got like 870 followers, as we can see here. He's got this thread. Yeah. It's there. I don't know. Is it not possible that an individual with 884 now followers all of a sudden is getting 710 responses, or all of a sudden maybe hundreds, maybe potentially thousands of responses and stuff that you're not really used to? And maybe he's just like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. He protects his account because he's kind of getting a lot of messages that are very angry. And is it possible that he's like, well, why would somebody do this? Well, they put up as a banner the reason why they did that. Again, it looks absolutely terrible, but maybe he is a Silicon Valley genius. Maybe he knows exactly what to do, or is it possible that, depending on the observer, depending on from the position you're sitting, things might look a little bit different? If you're looking to be offended, you'll always be offended. There's an infinite number of things that people can be offended about. I hear this all the time. And this is one of my issues. It seems like a lot of folks that are grossly offended by this situation seem to be assuming uncharitability. Now, is it possible that the whole Kathleen Kennedy brand and everything like that, are they out there saying, we wish to destroy Star Wars, ha ha ha? Or is it possible, like certain folks within certain fandoms have said, that Star Wars is more of a boys franchise? That's how it's historically been. If the majority of your, the people in a country happen to be, I don't know, women, and that's an untapped market, would it make sense to appeal to your largest growth demographic? Only if you're trying to make money. Now, the actual implementation of that, well, you can totally criticize. That's perfectly fine. I mean, in my opinion, it's just like, even the first of the sequel trilogy, I'm looking at, I'm like, I mean, it was alright as like a sci-fi movie or science fantasy. I'm like, I didn't think it was super great as a Star Wars movie. I'm like, I felt it was missing things. The next one, I'm like, alright. I wasn't overly thrilled or anything. I mean, it was cool to see things. I feel like there were a hell of a lot of missed opportunities. There did seem to be some continuity, or just the way it was put together. I mean, it's not like they switched directors part the way through. I don't know. That seems like more like interoffice politics and everything that kind of led to it getting Justice League. I'm just saying. Are these not contributing factors? Or is it possible these are a group of people trying to undermine our culture, that are trying to push forward a very, very unpalatable for many people agenda? I mean, again, that's totally possible. Or is it that they're trying to make money by appealing to other demographics? Now, both of those might be plausible. Both of those may be occurring at the same time. Are they out there to hate on fans? I don't know. If you want to assume uncharitability, you can totally do that. But if we're going to assume uncharitability, why can't they? Just because it's them? Just because we're obviously right? Because we're us? Because obviously nobody on our quote-unquote side has ever done this to these other people. Oh, I mean, it's not like folks have gone around, tagged folks, and said some not so nice things, or maybe used not so nice words about things, and people are getting suspended or banned or this, that, or the other thing. I mean, nobody on our side would obviously ever engage in that. Wait, whose side are we on again? I don't know. It's not like we just say things, and as long as people like them and continue to say that we're doing the right thing, we would continue to do that. Why? Well, because it helps. Because then we get more attention. Then we seem to be rising up through certain hierarchies within different groups and communities. I don't know. It seems like the more emotional you get, the more attention you get. Because you can sit back, you can just give a calm, subtle response. That's not exciting. What's exciting is completely raffle-stomping your opponent. Kind of like Luke did with those bots and everything. So, if you wish to believe that Mr. Hidalgo was literally trying to destroy Star Wars, the company that he works at and everything, you can totally believe that. Or is it possible that Dude Man be trolling on the internet and you're mad about Luke drinking sea cow milk? I'm just saying. Peace out, everybody. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and long live the album.
Have you guys checked out the Memes of Destruction's channel? He's an interesting dude. I like him.